Hey, we live.
Oh, my bad.
Welcome to Divine Honey Podcast. I am your host, your friend Tamika Johnson.
And I am your co-host, your big brother, friend, pastor, whatever you need me to be, Tim.
If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This show is about human experiences. This includes thought provoking conversations and, most importantly, our Divine Honey Podcast guest sharing stories about love, life, journey, and purpose. If you're watching live or on the replay and you feel inspired, show some love in the chat. Engagement is welcomed.
We need it.
We need it.
We need it.
What up, though?
Shit just got rushed on my lunch, but we good though. I got my blood sugar back up, as you can see. What up? How you?
I am well. Hi, Brittany. Happy Saturday, bud, and happy early birthday. Monday is Brittany's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Yay! I'm good. Um, guess who's here in Arizona?
Shit, guess who's about 3 hours away from us that I ain't even going to go see?
Who?
Drizzy.
Uh, Drake.
Yeah, he's in Kansas City.
You're not going to see him.
Nah,
You've seen him before. You don't
I
need to
couldn't
see
get
him.
nobody to go with me.
Nobody wants to see Drake. Keith Lee is here in the Valley.
Where he's about to go ruin? Whose restaurant he about to go ruin?
Tim, stop that. He's not ruining anything. Let me just stop you there. You're gonna make me mad.
Good thing we talk about confrontation. Calm your ass
you
down.
about to you about to piss me off. Keith Lee is a good man. He gave a review to this one place. Was it Republica? It's in Mesa. They got a good review, and I think he gave them money to they can feed people for free with this money. So that's what they're gonna do with it. They put out a statement. Another place he went to was Ace of Wings. I see it was voted on. So
He ain't
people
go to
are
ATL?
no, because he's going where how you're gonna get him to go there. He's invited, of course. People
Uh,
are gonna recommend it, and there's a poll.
ATL
So
got the best wings in Arizona. I don't care.
well, he didn't like Ace of Wings, but it was constructive, and he didn't say don't go there. He goes, "This is my personal taste buds." He did give the positives, and then what he didn't like. He still said go check them out. Um, this is just his personal. But the thing I like about him, he's like gives back, and he's helped a lot of businesses. He hasn't ruined anything. People are going to have the reputations that they're going to have, and if there's things they need to work on, it's constructive. It's like doing a Yelp review. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Customer service
absolutely.
takes place in there, but I really like him, and
Man, I hope he excels in life. You know what I'm saying? He is a good man. However, the argument that I still hold is, who are you, bud?
but
You are
here's
not no
the
real critic, cuz.
it doesn't matter. Anyone can be. He never claims to be a critic. For one, he just started making videos in his car, and
I'm a hater then. I'm a hater.
you are a hater because I think sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you're just anointed by God. You're just given a platform, you're given a gift, and people follow, and it's bigger. I think it's bigger than just him just giving a food review.
All right, I'm gonna start giving out haircuts, man. If y'all need a haircut, I'm
That's
unlicensed, but I could still cut hair. So come
that's
holla at me. I'm gonna get you right.
even if you're a food critic, it's still opinion.
I said a haircut, bro.
Okay. Well, go read. Keithley's here. Arizona, show up and show out. Let's have some good food here. And it's very exciting for the Valley.
No, it's good.
Um, it is Women History Month. Yeah, okay. Well, let me give you a little facts because this is a learning podcast too.
All right,
So,
well, teach
Women's
me
History
something.
Month, February 29th,
All right,
1909,
what
was
happened?
the first Women's History Day in New York. It was to commemorate the year anniversary of the garment workers strike. So in
What's up?
1980, Well, there was a strike. Obviously, the women were working in these garment factories. So, how do you think women were treated in 1909?
Shit, how they still treated right now?
So, in 1981, Congress passed Women's History Week beginning in March 7th, 1982. It was to celebrate American women of every race, class, and ethnic backgrounds whose roles and contributions have been consistently overlooked and undervalued in American history.
Right on.
Right on. And then in March 8th, there was the Education Task Force of the Sonoma County Commission. Um, those women,
Sonoma's out there with you, ain't it? It's on the West Coast. That's out in
yeah,
California, ain't it? Sonoma.
yeah, and commission, yep, it's in California. They plan to execute Women's History Week. So that started to be celebrated in 1978. And then in 1980, bro, 1980,
But that was right
a
before
group
you
of
was born, huh?
historians came together and launched what we like to call Women's History Month.
Let's go, girls. Who run the world? Girls. Who run around? Who runs this
Well,
mother?
sorry, they made it national.
Uh,
But in 1987, it became Women's History Month.
right on.
And so the cool thing about that is each year there's a theme. What do you think this year's theme is?
You know what I just thought about?
What?
You know, we go Black History Month, the shortest month of the year. Then March is one of the longer months of the year. So y'all get more love than black folks. That's crazy. It's
Child.
whatever though.
It's whatever, you know. But this year's theme is women who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion.
DEI?
DI, of course.
DII?
D D I I cannot do this with you. Um, so what makes things I think about in that is like people you can look up in history. There's a lot of people you can look up in history, but I just have two people. Gloria Steinem, she was in the women's movement in the 60s, 70s. And then we have Ida B. Wells.
Mm,
She was the founder of the NAACP.
yep.
Um, there's a lot of I watched like a couple movies and things about Gloria Steinem. What's interesting, even in that, we have the women's movement. Um, Still, a caveat in that is the women of color still struggled in that movement.
Mm,
It was still like an extra barrier. Women were able to vote 1920. Not women of color. We voted. We're able to vote 1965.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So still we did get lost. Black
I mean,
women tended.
we still progressing. We still
Yeah, we're
progressing.
progressing, but we're lost in that movement. But we're still even lost in some of the movements, the women movement, even now.
Right.
And so that's a whole nother topic. I would like to touch on that sometime.
Bring
But
your sisters up, man. We need them. Bring your sisters up.
yeah, but like the women's movement, we got to get a little panel. So if anyone's interested or they know anybody like that kind of has they work in that kind of area or advocated or activists, come on, let's do a panel. But here are some of the things that women were not able to do. I just have a little short list. Okay. Married women were legally dead in the eyes of the law. God. Women were not allowed to vote. Women had to submit to laws when they had no voice in their formation. I'm reading off something, of course. Married women had no property rights. Did you know women couldn't even have a credit card until on their own name until like 1975? Isn't that wild?
It's not wild because we know who ran the world and who still does. So
Yeah. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that
I'm
on
not.
this.
I'm not. No, I'm not saying that to like as a something to
Okay.
be offensive. I'm just saying we know why because of we know
Right.
who ran the world and who still does. Is that's like I was just like it's just like a
Yeah.
blanket statement. It wasn't nothing to be like offensive or
And
anything like.
you be acting funny, so I
Yeah, I
have
wasn't
to.
saying like men rule every. That's not what my intention was. But I'm saying like just even for our rights of last month and then now going into women's rights, like there was the white man was like the pillar
Mhm.
of all things. You know what I'm saying? That was my
Got
point.
I got you. I
Yep,
got
yep,
you.
yep.
Husbands had legal power over and responsibility over their wives to
Hmm.
the extent that they could imprison or beat them with impunity. It was just a lot of things. We had no rights, y'all.
It's an ugly game.
But there was a lot of women. There's a lot of women that fought for those rights, and we want to salute them of every background.
I would even say, like, if we took it even a little further, like you go over to like, and if I'm wrong, please correct me on this, but like you go over to like India or like the Middle East, there's still some of those um righteous type laws that women have to follow when married
Hmm.
to, you know what I'm saying? So it's still a lot of work to be done for sure. So
Yes,
let's bring up our women, man. We need them. We need them.
yes, and actually salute those men in power. You know, who was turning the neck. You know, they probably confided in their wives for sure, and women when we have influence. But I'm glad we're where we're at, and I'm excited to see where we're going.
You heard what James Brown said. It's a man's world, but it's nothing without a woman or a girl. You know what I'm saying? So where we at?
Where
Let's get it
we at.
together.
I love it. All right, what's today's topic, brother? Oh, wait. Before we go there, guess what else this month is?
Kingston's birthday.
Yeah, it is Kingston's birthday. I love it. It's Tamika's birthday. It is Pisces season. I already wished Brittany a happy birthday. Kingston's is the 15th. I'm the 17th, and Mom is the 18th. Oh, Brie, if you could have just held him in one more day. 16, 17, 18.
Nah, he was a week late already. So shit, it was time for him to come out.
Yeah, we don't want for Women's History Month. We don't need. She didn't need to suffer.
Yeah, right. Come on,
Get
man.
him out. Come on. But yes, it is Pisces season, and I love it.
Big fish, big fish. What up?
Yep. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Confrontation, bro.
Oh my goodness, confrontation.
How to
Um,
win an argument.
do you think what is considered confrontational?
I mean, I think it's what's the word? It's like subjective. Everybody has like their own different opinion of what a confrontation is. What I view confrontation and what you view confrontation, it's all relative. You might think of it as something different than what I might think that's small pennies, and you might think this is quarters and dollars. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a range of what it is. But my definition of it would be miscommunication or some form of disagreement that leads to an emotional outburst.
Oh, okay.
Because typically nobody, you ever heard that quote? It's like, never argue with a fool because from far nobody can tell who is who.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. So like I think of it as like, if it were to be confrontational, like turns into somebody has some kind of an emotional outburst to where it's like, ooh,
Okay.
or feelings are hurt and then the conversation is shut down, either or.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think people view it as like, if I come and have a conversation, like I think of it like times of opportunity. Like if I'm giving you like feedback or criticism in your type of work, an individual might view it as confrontational because they're uncomfortable in the conversation.
Okay. I see that too. You have some good definitions for it.
Hmm.
Um, but why is it hard? Why is it challenging?
Ego.
Oh, for sure.
When you can't put your ego aside to hear some, or you just might not emotionally, like something might be going on inside of you and you're just not in the place to hear it. You know what I mean?
Right. Um, It can be challenging. Yes, you said something about emotions, like emotional intensity. A certain conflict, of course, can trigger, like you said, that burst of emotion.
Hmm.
Um, I think personally for myself, I don't. That's probably why I have a hard time with confrontation because I'm a Pisces. When you with a March Pisces, when you go low, I go lower.
Yeah, we know.
You go lower, I go straight to hell.
Man, you be out here tripping, cuz.
Look, I be holding a lot in. I feel like I've matured over the years with that, but that's really my emotional intelligence was probably hard to deal with confrontation.
I think it's also how we frame it too. Like, if we view it as about to be something bad, then it's gonna be bad. If we
That's
view it as
true.
an opportunity for some truth, we don't always agree with everybody's truth, but that's what perspective is. Like, you have your perspective, I have my perspective, and together we can come to a resolution or a solution to fix the root cause of the issue. I think when we
Right.
come into the situation with like, I mean, I think there's a natural emotion of human nature of being like anxious or like there's a fear or worry or something that's like developing inside of your body or inside of your being. But when we just reframe stuff, man, and take a deep breath, I think a lot of stuff can happen because at the end of the day, truly, I guess depending on where you are emotionally with your emotional intelligence or your self awareness,
Hmm.
we're trying to get to a solution.
For sure. I
You
think
feel
we're
what I'm
trying to be heard.
Yeah, we're trying to get to a solution, but like if you come in with your agenda, I just came to be heard. I got to get this shit off.
Right.
I didn't even come here to say nothing else but what I got to say, and I'm not listening to shit you got to say. Then that ain't no point of having no conversation because you're not ready to have no conversation. I'm not ready to have no. Whomever the party is ain't ready to have no conversation if that's how you bring in, if that's what you bring into the party.
Right. So what's been hard for you to deal with confrontation?
I think before, I mean, now I don't. Now it's not an issue, but
Hmm.
before, I mean, I guess there will probably be like I always get a little bit of anxious feelings.
Hmm.
But before, like I would my ego, man, like, how you gonna tell me? You know what I'm saying? That's how I was always like, that's how my mindset was. But in order to grow, you have to listen to other people's perspectives.
Right.
Unless you want to, if you want to stay where you at, shit, you always right. You don't ever do nothing wrong. You feel what I'm saying? But if you want to grow, you got to be able to take those other perspectives because you're only seeing it from your lens. Other people have a lens or a view of the whole situation too.
Hmm. Speaking of like lens, I'm gonna bring our stuff up. Remember around Christmas we got an argument about mom? I was actually really mad at you.
About what?
Remember we had to go get her the next day, but there was a conversation we had the day before. You don't even remember it, but we talked about it in the car though. Your perspective of me being an enabler and you needing to
Oh,
be able to express yourself.
oh,
And I saw it like completely a certain way.
yep.
But I didn't talk to you till the next morning when we were driving, and I asked you, could you give? Obviously, I just wanted it to be fine. I mean, I knew we were fine, but um, I actually talked to a friend beforehand because sometimes, like going back to emotional intensities, sometimes it's difficult to respond. Like sometimes when you're talking to me, you're so logical. It's this, and you're rebuking me. You're
I'm not
making
rebuking you.
I feel that's what it feels like. It feels like you're rebuking what I'm saying. So I needed to be in like clear mind, and I asked you, could I just talk for like a minute with no interruption? And you listened to me. You actually listened to me because sometimes it's hard for me to articulate myself
Sure.
when emotions involved, and you allowed me to do that. And then you spoke. Did we 100% like agree? I don't know. I don't think I left like, oh, you're right or you're right. I just understood where you were coming from.
But that's the key though. There, I don't think there's a matter of who's right and
Yeah.
who's wrong. It's the form of two folks who are 50-50 in a conversation, inserting what they feel to believe is true, and then us resolving that to find a solution. That's
Yeah.
that's that's what it should be. Does it always end up like that? No,
No.
because we
What
both know
system
you an
coming up?
enabler.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Um. Oh, hi, Brittany. I'm gonna put your little emojis up. That's cute. I should have drank my glass that looked like that. Okay. Anyways, Tim, you can read,
Changing your mindset around confrontation as communication instead.
and then
Are you confronting to strengthen your relationship and communication?
yeah. So that's what it's like. The intent of what you're going in there for sure. Um, Another thing I think that can be difficult is like the fear of confrontation. Like you're worried about how it's going to affect the relationship. Is it going to damage it? Because sometimes in these confrontations, two things can happen. There's two things: you're going to work it out, or you're
Or
not.
you're not?
and, and that could be like an end of a relationship.
But I'll say this. So like the this is like a really big skill to, and I don't know if we'll ever have it mastered because of human nature. However, I still believe that when you're when you're at a place individually, because everybody's at different places on their journeys of self-awareness.
Mhm.
If I know I'm going into a conversation and I feel a way and I start to see the other person rise in the way that they're feeling from the words that I'm saying, you have two choices in that circumstance. You can either continue to fuel that, or you can say that I'm noticing what I'm saying is starting to make you feel away. Let's talk about it and stop right there. I think a lot of times we want to force a conversation to happen, or we want to force us getting our stuff off. But in being self aware and socially aware, and you're recognizing that it's making somebody else, another person that you're talking to, feel away, it's probably time to stop and revisit. We can always revisit it. We can always take a break from the conversation too. And I think sometimes we forget about that.
Oh, that is a good one.
And that's what you just brought up from when our conversation. I'm sorry
Yeah.
I didn't remember because you know me, bro. I be letting shit go. So the shit don't stay in my brain, but it's gone. Once I
Right.
know we got a solution, I'm never thinking about it again until someone else brings it up. Probably. Uh,
Right.
but what you just said, we got heated on that Friday night. We took a break. We both were able to process what we said, even though I was still standing on business. We come back Saturday morning in the car, and you're like, Tim, I need to do this. You're communicating to me that, hey, this is how I need to communicate to you. Give me 2 minutes to talk without interruption so I can get my thoughts out. Okay, cool. And
Mhm.
that's a growth area for a lot of folks to jot that down and take that because, again, when you're going into a conversation and it turns into an argument, are you trying to win or are you trying to resolve the what the situation is? I think a lot of times we, depending on how impacted or hurt we were, we can come in to try to win that thing, but you're not winning anything. You're just making your relationship worse.
Yeah.
You might even lose somebody in that conversation because you're so eager on winning versus listening and problem solving.
I love that. Um, what are some like communication barriers? Why is it hard? Like I can only speak for myself, like, and I want you to speak for yourself and in general. Um, Communication barriers is if I'm going back and forth with someone, I let emotion cloud.
Sure.
And that's why sometimes I personally will not have certain conversations. There's certain people I can, like, they understand who I am. So it's easier.
Right.
It they're less offended, like it's whatever. But if you kind of don't know me, or for somebody like we both have kind of the same tendencies, I will probably most likely back down. I won't say anything like right
Sure.
away. It'll come up later, which
Right.
isn't even healthy. So, and I will say, I probably don't actively listen. I'm trying to get better about
Yeah.
that.
I think for myself, honestly, like I think once I was able to get a name of what things are, like social emotional learning, like really changed my life.
Mhm,
Like I was always pretty good at de-escalating situations just from my work when I worked at Orchard Place. But when I got the language of like self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and all those terms, I then start to take a you start to take a deep dive into yourself because human nature is going to allow people to do what they do. We're
mhm,
all raised in different environments. We
mhm,
all come from different cultures. Each day we're different people based off of what we've been a part of or been exposed to in the that day, you know what I'm saying? So like we're always changing, we're forever changing, you know what I mean? So it's like how do I fit in this world of difference? I can either continue to try to fight it and be combative, or I can learn and I can grow and I can adapt to be a
mhm.
better person. And ultimately I keep going back to this because I feel as though when you don't know yourself, you
Boom.
don't know like your triggers,
Mhm,
something is going to pop off inside of you and you're not going to know when it's going to come or how it's going to come, but something will pop off inside of you. And doing that, now we got to figure out how we respond when those circumstances happened because that can also derail a lot of stuff too.
mhm. And like you were exposed that, and you going to school for that, in your work environment, you learned the language. And that's one way your environment, being in new environments, can teach you these languages and self-awareness. Also therapy, because on my end,
Yep.
that's where I learned the language. And really in therapy, you're looking at yourself.
Yeah. The
All
mirror
these
right in
things
front of you.
that doesn't matter. The first thing they do, we're gonna talk about me, looking at
Yep.
myself, my
Yep.
behavior, my reactions, my accountability, my choices.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's still an ongoing thing. Um,
100%.
and it's okay to even just go to therapy to learn about communication. Like it's not I'm going to learn about communication.
And there's nothing wrong with that because again, like communication is the best thing. And as Bree mentioned in the chat, like confrontation and communication should be coined in the same sense because
100%.
either way, we're talking to each other. That's what we're doing. But we can coin it as confrontation, which has a negative tone to it, or we can label it as I'm trying to communicate with you how I feel, which has more of a positive tone on it.
And when you know yourself, you're able to express yourself more clear, even to the point of saying, I'm having a hard time expressing myself. Can you give me a minute? Just like
Yeah,
this, I said, I need 2 minutes. Or sometimes it's people, I can't talk about it like right now because I can't express myself
right.
properly.
And that's why taking breaks is powerful.
Yeah,
Taking a break is powerful. We can pause this real quick. Let's pause this and come back to it. All right, cool. Let's do
let's
it.
regroup.
Yeah, let's regroup because this isn't going anywhere. We're both getting agitated. We're both getting a little heated. Let's go ahead and revisit this another time. And when that time comes, we're gonna talk about it. And it could be 10 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 30 seconds, or it could even be the next day. You get
Right.
you get to decide that.
You
I
know,
also
another.
think with that raise of emotion, that's when the most misunderstandings happen because now the person who is receiving that message only sees the emotion, but they're not listening to the words anymore.
Right. I look, and on the person on the end of having emotion, you guys even see me on here. I talk with passion. I'm this and that. You know, that's been said. That's anger.
That's been misinterpreted.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm just passionate about my shit of what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, like Keith Lee.
I can't stand you. Right, right. Could
But
I be
again, I
angry
think
in those conversations?
no, you ain't never mad. I think it's also a cultural thing too. I
Yeah.
think in different cultures we talk with our hands, we talk with our nonverbals, you know what I'm saying? So I think when you're also seeing like the spoken language, the words coming out, but then you're also trying to interpret the nonverbals,
Hmm.
that can also lead. But that's what comes with knowing yourself and then also the people that know you too. Like, damn, Tim and Tamika talk with their hands a lot when they start to, you know what I'm saying, feel the little volt of energy come through their body. There's nothing offensive about that, but that's just who they are. And that's
Right.
okay. You feel what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But both parties have to know that so that it's not interpreted as, oh, I'm trying to disrespect you or this is coming off as offensive because that can also be miscommunicating.
100%. Look what Bree said. She said, "Oh, Tim gets passionate too, especially about sports."
It's cuz, bro, I hate somebody that, I mean, I strongly dislike somebody that has an opinion about it, but has never like physically done it.
Oh, good point.
That's like my pet peeve. But everybody has their own opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? You can
Right.
most definitely have an opinion that everybody has them. What's that quote?
Everyone has one.
No,
Opinions are
opinions are like
like
assholes.
holes.
Everybody has one and they stink.
They I haven't heard the stink part, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know another thing why confrontation can be hard, and this is like even in like the workplace, and this power dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just if there's a hierarchy or you feel like someone is higher than you, like you might have a low opinion of yourself. Maybe you're talking to someone like Tim. Somebody might have a hard time talking to you because you're, to me, you come off very confident and sure of what you're saying, but you're okay with, if you're wrong, but you're still going like hold your head up.
Yeah, for sure.
But someone who doesn't know themselves or this or that or insecure or timid, they're going to have maybe a hard time. But also, they want to, that might throw them off. But I think if they know you and your kindness, you are a compassionate person. I will say that. So I think that shines through.
Dare I say empathetic?
Empathetic. What did I say? What are you
Yeah. I thought I could slide one in there.
empathetic? Are you? Look, Tim, you be telling me, I'll be like pouring my heart out to you, like, man, that sucks. What you gonna do, bud? I'm like, I gotta whatever. I gotta let you. But dynamic for sure. Let's get another comment in. Just a key at heart, Bree says, I think too in relationships you can talk about confront. Wait, I think too in relationships you can talk about confrontation before you need to confront people at work, friends, partnerships, and relation. And yeah, partnerships. So yes, it is nice. Like you should be able, like I'm sure if you guys are having issues with people, you and your wife, you guys talk about it. You have somebody to talk to before you
Right.
approach them because you trust each other. I'll tell you, my person who I talk to before I, that gives me something to think about. She isn't on today, but Bridget, that is my person. Like if I'm having conflict now, doesn't mean I take everything because we roll a little different. She's not with the shits with people, but She gives me things to think about, but she knows my background. She
Right.
knows my DNA, and she knows where I'm coming from. She understands it. So that's I don't have to explain myself. I'm saying why I'm like when I was mad at you, I talked to her about you. I was like, oh, he said he could because you yelled upstairs. You go, I can hear you, and I was like, I don't give a damn. Like in somebody else's house, y'all, I ain't shit. It's fine. But I was like mad, and she's like, you know what? We just talked it through. She goes, she gave me some really good advice on like approaching it or what I was comfortable with and helped me talk it through, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and was real. Like that's the one that keeps it a buck.
Mm-hmm. You gotta
And
have
you
somebody like that.
like, I know you'll feel, and even warn me my feelings might about to get hurt. I love you, but
But that goes to Bree's comment right there. Talk about how you communicate and how you don't like to be communicated with. You know,
yes.
it comes across. That's a boundary that you can set. Like, hey, this is how I communicate. I'm a direct communicator.
Hmm.
I don't mean for it to be offensive, but that's just the way that I know how to communicate. And it's very direct.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I like to receive communication by this. I like when
Yes.
people talk to me like this. And then it also it can transform depending on how the relationship goes. I think at the beginning, we lay those boundaries, and as we get to know each other more,
That's
then it
right.
can it can start to switch or transform in our communication style because now we know each other.
And I think we don't have those conversations entering into that. That's a good thing to think about when entering into new relationships and new friendships. Now, relationships, you think off the top of your head, that's a given of
Hmm.
her statement. But friendships are really, can I tell you something? Friendships are really important. Can I tell you something? I sometimes a breakup of a friendship has been as devastating
Yeah, it's
for
grief.
me
Yep.
as a romantic partner, maybe even more so. Like, damn, I just lost my damn friend. Or
Yep.
thinking I'm going to lose my friend. I didn't like tears.
Yeah. You got to grieve that. That's a
Yeah. Yeah.
relationship you got to grieve. It's because now if once you lose them, they're gone. We're not talking no more. So like it does feel like a death because now
Yeah.
this person isn't part of my life anymore.
And I like what you're saying, having those conversations. Sometimes I try to be like thoughtful on how I communicate, but sometimes I'm not thoughtful. Sometimes I just say I like I'm shooting it straight, like not unkind, just direct. And I need to maybe work on asking how would they like to be communicated with um in my newer friendships for sure.
Yeah, and
And
there's nothing wrong. Like, hey, I'm
and revisiting maybe my old ones of how they like to be communicated with. Maybe
sure.
we've been stuck in a cycle
Yeah,
and don't even realize it. So let me take that back. Maybe that's something a lot of us could think about, maybe revisiting those conversations with our partners, our friends. How do you like to be communicated with?
absolutely. But that can be good or bad because if
Hmm.
folks haven't done that self work either through therapy,
Facts.
journaling, or whatever it is, they might not even know.
That's true.
So then I'm gonna put that challenge out there. Like, if you don't know how you like to be communicated, let's start doing that together. Let's go on that journey together and ask questions of what is my communication style and how do I want people to talk to me? Because a lot of times we just be catching attitudes at people like, man, this, but we ain't never tell them how we wanted to be talked to.
Right. Um, how do you like to be talked to, Tim?
It depends on the situation. Like if we got like some project we're working on and stuff needs to get done, I need you to be direct and tell me directly what it is.
Hmm.
Like I just need it to be, and I never at work. I don't ever take anything personal because it's what's work, which is what we're here for. At the crib, I just like to be communicated with when I ain't doing nothing.
Oh, that's funny.
So any style. Bree politely cussed me out the other day, so it's just however it goes. You feel me?
Okay.
She also mentioned this. That's why it's important to be culturally proficient.
Oh,
Hmm.
polite cuss out. Oh, I like that. That is true because we do have different, and I like that you even brought up with me. I could probably because different backgrounds.
Hmm.
Everyone, I would say around me, I remember I was shy, so everyone around me was very blunt, direct, but like to the point of hurting your damn feelings, though.
Yeah.
Like damn.
But I
I,
think it's with being direct, it's how you say it, how it's delivered. Like I can be direct to you in my tone and my
yes, it's how it's
the word,
yeah,
the volume, the speed in which I say it has a different connotation in how you understand and perceive my message. You feel what I'm saying?
right.
So always remember like the speed in which you talk, the words that you use when you're trying to deliver a message, even the time of day. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of variables that go into a direct message because you can deliver a polite direct message and you can
And it,
deliver a passive aggressive direct message that's has asshole tones on it. You feel what I'm saying?
oh, for
And if you're
sure, for
still
sure,
direct, the person
right,
understand the message loud and clear, but there's a way that you can deliver that.
100%. And I would say like I agree with you at work. I don't. You have to tell me what you need. Like it just has to be direct. Like this is what I need. This is what I'm asking you. Like if someone tells me a long story and then we're not even getting like I'm like what's happening? I'm like that. I need to know what do you want? What do you need? And let's fix it. That's
Yeah,
really it.
yeah.
um in real life, I mean, tone and stuff, all that stuff matters to me. I think yeah, I have to be kind of talked to a certain way. That's that Pisces, but I can get past some stuff too. You know what I mean? After I calm, I will say I'll get past it and like we'll receive the message. Just like if you really pissed me off, just give me a day and then I'll come back and let you know. I like the way he was talking to me. Chill out.
Yeah,
But so, but I'll get past it to receive it if it's really from a loving place, for sure.
that's good.
I don't have a direct. I'm a bunch of things. So in my personal life, it's a lot of things. It ain't like one clear answer. It just depends on the situation. Because of course, I got little feelings. You don't want them to get hurt, but sometimes it happens, and you got to face it, right?
Sure.
So oh, got a comment. Bridget said, yet women are considered a B when they are direct. Yeah, I
But I
think
think
so.
that comes from, and I'm not a woman, so
Okay.
I think that also comes from like an insecure person that is receiving the message from a woman.
Mm, I like that.
So if a woman is like the CEO, CFO, whomever the head be in charge, you feel what I'm saying? And she's giving people directives and someone feels like, "Oh, you're being a bee about that." Like that's an insecurity that's on that person. Keep doing
So
your thing, sis.
don't we ain't taking that on. That is like a
Yeah.
very nice answer. We don't need to take that on.
Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do. That's an insecurity from a person. They got to know they role and stay in their lane and get their job done, just like I got to get it done as the in charge. I got pressure just like you got.
Right. You can read the next one, brother.
I also think it's important to have a reflection conversation too. Like, how did that conversation go? What would it do to make it better for next time? How could I speak to you differently? That's
Oh,
very
okay.
important when, especially when it appears that there's still like some residue left, like someone still has something to say.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and recap. Now we done had the conversation. We found a resolution, but let's go ahead and revisit it one more time because now everybody's all the way calm. And let's get, you know what I'm saying, still work to that problem solve resolution.
I like that. And sometimes we tap into unresolved issues. That's the scary part about hitting conflict because we think it's about one thing, Really, once you start having that conversation, shit can get deep.
But that's where it can be beautiful because now we're getting to the root cause. You were never really mad about this I did. I triggered that in you. And now let's go ahead and really problem solve and find a solution. But that takes one of the people, because now it's two folks in this conversation. It takes one of those folks to be aware enough to know that at this moment in time, I need to back down and be the listener.
Oh,
I got to take a step back because obviously I touched the nerve. I got to be the listener. I know I have stuff I have to say. And right now, this isn't my time to say it.
I like that. This is she. Oh, this is about you, bro.
It's always about me, bro.
That happened a lot in our relationship in the beginning. Tim would always be like, "What does this really mean?" Okay.
But that's when I was just fresh out of grad school. So I was really on my therapy.
I'm like, let's get out of here. No, I'm joking. That's refreshing, but
Yeah.
let's see. Read Bridget's for us.
At the VA, they have something called the stop line. We're all required to stop something when we see a problem. They say, say what you see, say what the problem is, say what's need to be done to fix it.
Yeah. I
But
like that.
even with that though, that's that individualized work of when I was talking about like I'm gonna start a challenge to let people know because you might see like in perspective, we see something, we say something, right? And well, let's figure out a problem to fix it. But at that time, nobody might not have the problem to fix it. Or if
Hmm.
the person, one of the parties in the conversation, because it's two people in the conversation, you have to be willing to accept or hear, comprehend that solution from the other person too. And that's the hard part. Because I think a lot of times our egos get hurt or impacted and
Hmm.
we're not in a place or space to hear that. So for me, if I'm not in that place or space, or you're not in that place or space, you got to be able to communicate that and state that, hey, I appreciate you bringing that up. And I know you're not saying this out of malice, but I'm just not in the space to hear this right now.
Hmm. I
And
don't
then
receive it.
yeah, I'm
I
not
can't
receiving it.
receive it.
Yep.
And that's where it gets complex
That's
because,
where it can get complex. Absolutely.
yes, because people have different beliefs. So if
Hmm.
you're 10 toes down in your belief system of how things should go, how they should work, and how you should react, and what you need to be doing, you're projecting on the other person, it can get very complex because of your belief system, which
Absolutely.
may not be the other person's core
And
belief.
that's where it's nice to have a person where you can bounce stuff off of and have a soundboard so that we can get a different perspective because we are humans. We're imperfect beings. We see the world in which we see it, and damn it, it is what it is. So if I don't have anybody else to talk to or um, bounce ideas off of, my accountability structure is all about me. I don't do nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong. I'm
Mhm.
perfect. I am beauty, and my ego is probably pretty big.
And another thing is just bringing in our personal baggage. So if I grew up in a household too, like where everyone shuts down, that's how I'm going to navigate my relationships.
Hmm.
So just bringing in being defensive, avoidance.
But even in that, when you're bringing, because we all have, I don't even like to use
Yes,
baggage. We all have past trauma, past exposures, past whatever
I like past
other
exposure. I'm gonna start using that for baggage instead
from
of
other
baggage.
from other from other relationships or parties that we've been a part of.
Mhm,
But it's our responsibility as the individual to do something about that.
mhm,
We can't expect our partner at the beginning, we can't expect our partner to read our mind, change our beliefs because there's still some personal work that we have to do to then be a full participant in a relationship. Because it isn't fair for the other person to have to deal with some of that stuff at the beginning, because that was all before you had met them or they met you, what have you.
Mhm.
Now, if we're in a relationship and we're progressing, it can then become a team effort depending on how much I really want to
Mhm.
be with this person. So then that's where you have to figure out if this is what I want to do, this is who I want to be with, then now we're going to do this together because I want you to be the best person you can be.
Tim, it's interesting you say this. Today I got sent the video. You know the Christian rapper Lecrae?
Mhm.
Okay, he was speaking. He said, whether you choose to be single or married, they're both hard. You got to
Yeah,
pick your heart.
pick your heart.
So when you pick your partner, you pick, you're choosing to take on when you enter marriage, what you're saying, you're a part of that. Their
Mhm.
what comes with their hurt, like that's part of it because it's he said it's sacrifice.
Yeah.
We're so stuck on love that we forget about the sacrifice. So
Mhm.
it's very confirmational that you kind of just hit that.
Yeah.
Um,
I am a vessel, so God gives me the things to say, and I
well,
go
that's
ahead and speak that.
confirmation. So Bridget says, in our marriage, we sometimes have heart level conversations. A person can talk and be vulnerable without any punishment.
Yeah.
We can ask, I think you said that is,
I think it and like in reflecting, listening to somebody
yes,
speak is what you said. What I'm saying, is that correct? Absolutely,
yes,
because that's a
absolutely.
reflective statement. That's a reflective statement, and then doing more reflective statements. Now we're able to get on the same page.
And then y'all tearing it up, but you can read the next one, Tim.
But you can change our culture of communication from where you grew up. Yeah, from when you grew up, you can
A
change it.
hundred percent.
Absolutely. Yeah,
A
that's a
hundred
choice that you
percent.
can make.
That's a choice. I'm gonna read one more for Bridget. Yes, the best thing. This is from Bridget Giles. Yes, the best thing my mother-in-law ever said to me was, "This is my this is my son. Treat him and fight with him the way you want your son's wife to treat him."
Yeah, that's real. Do that for sure.
Yes.
That's real.
So dealing I guess we kind of like dealing with confrontation can be challenging. So, kind of some little points of like quick things that can help you navigate. We've kind of hit some, but like really staying calm and keeping
Staying
your
calm.
emotions in check.
Practice. If you
Hmm.
if you feel like there is something coming up or a situation that you would like to talk about with your partner, practice. You don't have to talk through it with somebody. You can journal it out.
Hmm.
You can talk it with yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Practice it, because sometimes it is hard to say some of the stuff that you feel. And it might spark something inside of you because you've never had that opportunity to be heard. So it might spark some feelings up inside of you. You know what I'm saying?
What about active listening?
That's the hardest part,
Hmm.
because depending on what the topic is, someone has to be a willing participant to be the active listener, because not everybody gets to talk at the same time. So someone has to be the listener. And when you're active listening, you're not listening to respond, you're listening to comprehend.
Yeah, I'm I'm working on that because I be wanting to cut somebody off real quick. I'm like, get out of here. But expressing yourself clearly, communicating your thoughts, using the maybe I statements,
Absolutely. When
not
you did this, I felt. When this happened, I felt.
saying,
I
"Ooh,
know you probably didn't mean for this to happen, but this is the way that it made me feel.
okay. Oh, my computer almost died. Oh, Lord. Okay. I got it. Okay. Yes. I feel what else?
Oh yeah, that's great, Bridget, what you said. So sometimes we have qualifiers to the conversation. Do you want me to listen or fix it? That's real because now you know where you're standing. Okay, in this conversation, I'm just a listener and I can be that. But again, that comes from the individual. They got to be able to know, like, damn, how do I want this person to be in this conversation with me right now?
Right. Okay. I like that, Bridget. Um, I guess setting bound, the big thing, boundaries, you know, letting
Hmm.
people know I don't know your boundaries. How do I know your boundaries?
Right.
And letting them know kind of what's acceptable to you. Like maybe for me, if once we start raising our voices, that is, it's done. We have to end this conversation.
Right.
Or like some people, you got it to like, you can't call me out my name. There's people you really have to like, just because of background and how they talk. Look,
But that sounds toxic, so it shouldn't even get to that.
right.
You shouldn't
That's
even be calling me out my name anyways,
that's
unless you like calling me sis or something. It shouldn't be
right.
no derogatory, negative, disowning type word. No language like that.
100%. Um, seek understanding. Try to understand the underlying reason. That's what we're talking about earlier. Like getting to the root.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to the root. Stay respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid the personal attacks. You know what I don't like? Oh my gosh. I do not like passive aggressiveness. My attitude is if you're going to be aggressive, just be aggressive. If you're a wolf, be a wolf. I respect a wolf. They're going to be exactly what they're going to be. I
Yeah.
hate passive aggressiveness. I hate it. It's not my jam.
Right.
um of course we talked about this, like taking breaks, cooling off, and it's okay to compromise. It's not a win lose situation.
Right.
um and I like what you said about following up on the conversation. Like have we been, like, even just how, since we've had this conversation and we said we're going to work on this and that, how do you think 30 days later, how do you think things are going? Have you seen
Yeah.
improvements?
Right.
those are um, those are very good things to have. For you, have you ever had like a confrontation where, because of really, and all we are talking about conflict resolution.
Right.
Um, have you ever been in a situation where it was decided, hey, after that conversation, um, we're gonna go our own way?
Like
That was
like a
resolution.
breakup.
Like a breakup, even of a friendship or a relationship.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that and that you know what I'm saying that happened all the time when I was younger.
Hmm.
That's when you don't know no better. Like but we both got something to say and we both mean what we say. At
Yeah,
that time, we're not neither one of us are listening to comprehend. We're listening to respond. That's all we're doing is trying to respond. Who can hurt the other person more?
right.
That's what it turns into.
And I'll go back to like friendships being sticky. I have like a good example where I was friends with a person um, for like 20 something years. I don't know. Our friendship was very complicated. I think she was there for me, like in a really like complicated time. But our attitude is we fell out literally every 6 months. We fell out like once a year. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And we never had conversations about why our friendship was this way. So our last thing that happened was I didn't communicate as to as fast as she would have liked. We were supposed to. She wanted to go somewhere on a trip. I said okay, but by the time I got done with my Beyonce concert and stuff, I was literally wiped out. That was really it. I had nothing to give. But I forgot to tell her I wasn't going to go. We didn't book it already. I was just supposed to be looking for things. She reaches out and I say, I'm honest, but we're messaging. And I say, hey, I said, unfortunately, I said, I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. Unfortunately, this is a trip that I cannot take at this time. So she reads my thing and she doesn't say anything. I've known this person long enough. It's a very passive thing. She's upset with me. So I hear through another friend, no, she's upset with you. And she's going through some things. And I think she's just taking it out on you. I live across the country. But remind you, this happens all the time. We've gone periods of not even talking for like 2 years off of just not having certain conversations, and I take part in that too because I could have had those conversations too.
Right.
Honestly, I just at those times I hadn't done the work. I was not capable of it. And
Right.
maybe her either. Um, but I felt like um our other mutual friend, she gave a lot of grace to, but was always not with me. And I say this to the third party friend. She goes, I can see that. She goes, I don't know what the issue is with you. I could, at this point, because I've done the healing work, I could easily probably pick up the phone and have this conversation with her. But I don't want to. I would like to move forward and keep it as it is.
Ain't
If
nothing
one
wrong with
day
that.
we come in contact and there's a conversation because we share a friend, if me and her are to ever be like, I don't want to be cool again, but if we're ever in passing, I think I would, if the opportunity presented itself, I would have a conversation about the conflict.
Right.
But the conversation for me is to end on a good note. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Not
and
to
that's
repair
cool.
because I think it's toxic.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Though I've not done everything perfect. I did not. There was times I didn't communicate for sure, and maybe I didn't find sad. Maybe somewhere down, maybe I didn't find a certain value in the friendship.
That's it.
It could really be that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there's
I
nothing
can't
wrong
be
with that.
perfect. I'm
Right.
still being worked on. So sometimes you got to say negative, unfavorable shit about yourself. Maybe there's something with this person. But what did Bridget say? It's about damn time you cut that toxic relationship off. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Well, you guys are, but I bring that up because as we're talking about conflict resolution, sometimes it's in, sometimes it's just bringing up toxicity and having this constructive conversation of, I'm just going to move on. But if I ever had a chance, if there was an opportunity to have a conversation, that would be the conversation we would be having.
Right.
I'm not interested in jumping in pretending like nothing happened. Or I'm actually not even interested in continuing the friendship. So
That's cool.
so just know it's okay to end things. And it's okay to try to end things nice if you can. I do have a
Right.
question. What do you feel about blocking people?
That shit's petty. I don't block nobody.
Okay, my therapist hates that.
Yeah,
She was like, you got to stand 10 toes. If you don't want to deal with somebody or this or that, you say what you mean and mean what you say.
that's it. Yeah, that blocking shit is dead. I just I just unfollow them. I let them like, hey, this ain't working out. Unfollow. Cool. You can still see what I'm doing. I ain't got to see yours. So that's where
I
we
ain't
at.
got to see yours.
Yeah.
Yo, this was like a good conversation. What do you hope people got out of it?
I hope that you learn just it's all about yourself. Like it's about you, the individual.
Hmm.
Do the work for yourself. Don't do it for nobody else. Do it for yourself. If you want to be the best version of yourself, do the work.
You got to do the work.
Yeah.
Let's get a couple more comments in it before we break out on this beautiful Saturday. Okay, so sorry, Bridget said breakups can be healthy when you realize you're not headed in the same direction. It's okay to say we work better apart. Facts. Um, what did Brienne say? Brienne said, block them. No one is ruining something I care about. Block them. What does Bridget say? Blocking is okay in certain situations, abuse. Y'all, let us know. Do y'all be blocking folks?
Hell yeah. It already sound like they do. So
Anyone who's watching this. Oh my gosh, today was really good. I hope what people took from today is always do the work within yourself. For sure. Um and have those tough conversations.
have them. You grow from them.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you guys, you guys can also listen and rate this show on Apple Podcast
Rate
and
it.
on
Rate
Spotify.
it. Rate it.
Huh?
I said rate it.
Rate it because we're trying to level up, level up. If you're interested or know anyone who wants to be a guest or any topics you want to discuss, you guys hit your girl up. Look, I'm a slide you my email address.
She said
Hit
blocking
me.
can be self care.
It really can. You guys hit me up at bougiegirl@gmail.com. Bougie Girl is BOOSHEGURL at gmail.com. Um, who said it could
uh,
be self-care?
we just got to 1,000 followers on TikTok too. So support the wife. You know, we got to go live this morning. So holla at just a key at heart. TikTok, social work, or TikTok, uh, Instagrams. I think she got a Snapchat. Probably Snapchat it.
Yes.
Whatever that is. You know,
Congratulations, Bree.
like, follow, support that. Support that.
Go be one of her friends. She talks to her friends
Yeah, go be
and
one of the
she has
friends
a
if you're
lot of
not.
great information. So go be one of her friends. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Sheba. Blocking can be self-care. That's who said it for sure. Yeah. Look. And then yes, almost 1,000. They let me go live before 1,000. So keep following. Yes. Congratulations on that. Yes. Any parting words, brother?
Love and peace.
Yes. So until next time, you guys. Oh, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Bougie Girl, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next time, peace and blessings. Love you guys.